found me. And I think we're live.
Welcome to Books We Never Read.
Except for those we have.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Jason.
And today we are discussing the third day and the fourth day of The Name of the Rose by Umberto Eco. And by saying that, we're really discussing all of the book through the fourth day. So, if you haven't read through the fourth day, we're going to spoil some things for you. So just make sure that you handle that. And I'll say that one more time before we really get started as people are joining. So, if this is your first time joining the book club, welcome to the book club. We're super excited to have you here. We have tons of other books playlisted for you in the playlist section of our channel. We've read lots and lots of books by this point, so you can pick any of those things and catch that replay and chat us up in the discussion box, and we're super excited to like relive those books and talk about them again. If you are, if you have read, up through day 4 of The Name of the Rose by Umberto Eco, then please stay and chat us up in the little chat box, join the discussion, especially because I need help understanding what I'm supposed to understand about this book. We are available on YouTube Music as a podcast. We're on Instagram at Books We Never Read for the memes. And we're on Fable at Books We Never Read to keep the discussion going. In between our live meetings, we do meet every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central, live to discuss the current book.
Yes. Thank you for handling it. I think we are all set up. I don't think our normal folks are here yet, but we are all set.
All right. So, I feel like we need to wait a moment.
Certainly can.
For them to get here. So anyways, hi!
Yeah.
Peggy, glad you found us.
We forgot to schedule the live, it seems. Maybe.
Yeah,
we're not really
that's
sure.
probably true. Yeah. For any new folks here, we love book recommendations, so add those to the little chat box as well. But anyways, here we are.
Yep. And don't forget to like the video. We had like 9 likes last week. I feel like that helped because we got like 200 views for some reason.
For this book?
Yeah.
What a first book of the new year.
I'll make a deal. For everybody who likes this video, I will tap the plus speed button one more time on my audiobook.
We can't even go up anymore.
I'm about as high as it can go.
We're already blasting at 2.0 speed.
I think I made it to 2.2 by the end. Anyway. We having fun yet?
I saw this thing on Instagram that like it's apparently a hot take on like listening at the speed intended that it was recorded or bumping up that speed. People have a lot of feelings about that.
People need more problems.
A book like this, 2.0. Harry Potter, original speed. I want to savor it.
Yeah. I feel like most of the audiobooks I listen to, the original speed is just like entirely too slow. Audiobooks is also like a relatively new thing for me. I've only like really been doing them in like the last year. I really enjoy reading, but I've got a long commute, so it's easier.
So I've got questions.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 1.7 is Shelby's little sweet spot. Okay, yeah. What am I supposed to be getting out of this book?
Well, it's supposed to be a mystery. The problem is that like all the characters literally wear the same clothes and look the same and all act the same.
You want to know what's a mystery to me?
What's a mystery?
Okay. So, we ended with like, a cliffhanger.
Okay.
The love of Adso's life, who he tripped and fell into one time.
Wait.
Has been taken away as prisoner, right?
Okay, but the love of Adso's life that he met yesterday.
Yes, and
last night, technically. 12 hours ago.
Accidentally had sex with. Has been taken away. So, all I'm getting from this book is the men made this rule to not have sex.
But they all do it.
The men break the rule by forcing women or coercing them to have sex. And then the women go to jail.
Oh, she's not going to jail, boo-boo.
Well, I know. For being evil and sinful. That's what I'm getting out of this book.
Yeah. Wait, what's the question?
What else am I supposed to be getting?
This is
What's happening? Why is this book so good?
This is the way the world is organized. I don't understand.
Because it's not good. I am Flanders panel level angry at this book.
Yeah. Well, so first off, I was actually kind of thinking about this. Like, all right, so you're going to go like live in a monastery. You're going to live a life without sin or whatever. Cool. I don't necessarily understand lumping sex in with sin. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like the older I get, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, what? Like, even if like people got married and like, okay, so like cheating's bad. All right, I'm on board, right? Like, don't steal. It's not like property is bad. It's don't take other people's property, right? Like, that's the rule. The rule isn't don't kill people. The rule is don't murder people. So like, why are we just doing like the outright ban on this? Like, it's really, I don't know.
Because that's how original sin is passed down.
That's a good point.
And so according to the like real rules, even like sex in marriage is still the act of like passing original sin. So it's still
That's true.
Sinful. It's still an issue.
This is not healthy.
It takes some mental gymnastics to get around that. I'm so mad at this book. I'm so sick of it.
But like
my armrest. This is my piece. I'm mad.
I don't know. So basically, for like 600 years, the world was ruled by dudes that like hated their just like natural state to the point where like they did really horrifying things rather than just like lean into it.
Because they made up their own rules that they don't want to follow.
Yeah.
Okay, so quit pretending to follow the rules and you'll quit being a bad person. Because here's the thing, right? Like, they, like, Adso is, like, crippled with this guilt for this sin that he's committed. But at the end of the day, he gets to ask forgiveness, and it bothers him for a little while after that, but then he's done. Meanwhile, he is now part of what has got this girl caught, which will end her life. Well, he ain't guilty about that part. He's not guilty that he's part of this little ring of coercion that's wrecking this woman who's trying to just feed her family. You know, like, the guilt is always put on the wrong spot. And the correction, which, you know, like, that's what guilt's for. You're supposed to fix your action. But the corrections that are available to fix these kind of actions don't actually fix anything.
Well, I'll say this. I think, I don't think Adso is, like, all that culpable in her like being accused of a witch.
No, but he's a product of this system.
Sure, right? Like, no, he's definitely involved. I really blame William a lot for just being like, "Shut up, boy!" Like, let him take her. Like, this is just the way it is. Like, oh my, what are you talking about? No. That's wild. But of course, if you get involved with trying to protect a witch, now you're probably a warlock or whatever. You know? I want to jump into something Peggy said a second ago. You know, that there's this part of the book where they like rank sins, and that's something I think about sometimes too, because like all sin results in death as the punishment. So like in my mind, it's all equal. Like it's like it's all equal. You know, I don't know, but like but you've got to have this hierarchy so you can feel better about yourself because you're not the one doing. You're not doing
that at least. You're doing this, not that. Like you're, you know, coveting but not doing, or you know, whatever. But I do feel like, and I don't remember anymore, but in some Catholicism, aren't there sins that are aren't there unforgivable curses?
Yes. There's mortal sins for which you cannot be forgiven. Is this dude smut? I don't know. I don't want to claim this one. Dude smut is about living out your male fantasy of becoming like the liberator and like your own king. I don't know. I don't feel like that's what I want dude smut to be. I could probably so if this book was like about the Templars, I think that would probably qualify as dude smut. Who is a group that we finally get
secret societies and
I do still want to read like a Templar book, which will have a lot of the same.
You can do that on your own. I veto. Do we get vetoes in the book club? I'm so done with this. This is so frustrating.
I'm picking a Middle Ages book, guaranteed. Next. No, okay, so we have all that going on, but that's like just like the last little bit. And some of y'all probably saw my comments on Fable. Mostly what I got out of this was first off, I think there's a lot of interesting things that we don't think about here. Number one is through all of this interaction with this young lady, we discovered that like literally nobody in this abbey on the hill can understand like what she's saying.
Yeah,
like, literally nobody. Because they speak Latin, and they are the simple folk who speak whatever these people speak. Mm-hmm. And, you know, today we'd be like, oh, well, they speak French. But French was, like, not this, like, monolithic language at the time. It was definitely more so than it had been in the past, but, you know, like, but like, people weren't traveling all over the place and everything. And so languages there was a lot more, like, dialect, I suppose. But we also get this long conversation about how do we measure things here, which I thought was like really, I legitimately thought that was fascinating. Because by this time, the English are using sort of like an imperial standard. And so William is familiar with that. Mm-hmm. And it seems that the monks are too, because they keep telling him everything in feet. But they have like their own like local measurement system. Mm-hmm. And so like how wild is that you would have to measure everything differently depending on where you're at. And like we still have that. We have metric and imperial, but we only have two.
They did use cubits at one point, which is fun because that's what the arc is measured in. You know, like it's
like a Bible Times.
Yeah, measurement. It's like from here to here, which let's see, are they the same?
It's about the same.
Hey.
But so not only all that, but they also then we go into the library. And like the whole point of this labyrinth,
the real crime.
Well,
is how this library is organized.
Yeah, that's the real crime. But it's not like really a labyrinth to keep people out. It's an organizational system. It's just a horrifying organizational system, and it's really wild. It's really wild.
Yeah, they did provide a map once they got it sorted out. I was interested in the fact that like the compass didn't exist for very long before this time.
Yeah.
I thought that I just assumed we had that figured out pretty early on.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
And so we knew about magnetism, or like people generally knew about magnetism, but like the idea that it could be like attracted to the pole and you could use that for a reason. Well, first off, people didn't like know what the pole was.
Right. I understood that we wouldn't necessarily know why it worked, but I thought that we would have had it kind of sorted out that like this does work, we just don't know why it works, you know.
Well, I mean, if we had a compass, we would have like found the Americas much earlier, right? Like that's part of the issue with why nobody went west. Was it's very easy to tell which. I get them confused, right? But you can figure out this away, but you can't figure out this away. There is
latitude and latitude.
Yeah, longitude and latitude. Yeah, one of those is like relatively easy to figure out. The other one is like relatively difficult. But also, like you could just like, get turned around in a storm in the middle of the night. Now you don't know which way you're looking, and of course you have the stars and things like that. But like, what if you don't have access to that for a certain amount of time? Or, you know, whatever.
You'd be going the wrong direction for a week during a hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you probably die, honestly, on your little wooden boat.
Some people are made tougher than others.
Yeah, and so like at one point in talking about the library, somebody you mentioned this. Somebody says like, well, what if I heard once that somebody alphabetized them by like author's last name, and they're like, what?
What is this?
Yeah.
Nonsense. Yeah. Okay, so what also about the fact that our little herbalist had this just instant poison hidden behind a vase?
Yeah.
In his herbatory, whatever it's called. And a hurricane came through and wrecked all of their drugs. Yeah. And then his secret poisonous herb went missing.
Yeah. The longer we go in this book, the more I just like straight up suspect that guy. And the abbot. Like both of them, something fishy going on here.
Is the abbot the one that's real? He's the Inquisitor? Is that the abbot?
No, I think the Inquisitor just showed up from out of town.
Was a former Inquisitor when William was younger?
I think that's somebody else. I don't think it's the abbot. Yeah.
Like, is the Abbott the guy that I was comparing to the Hunchback of Notre Dame judge?
I don't remember.
Gosh, I just can't keep these people straight. They're all the same.
Yeah. Look, also so I also went and like read a bunch of history. First off, I mentioned Abelard and Eloise last week. They were brought up again in this. They were brought up in this reading after Adzo goes and has sex with this woman in the kitchen. I think it's in his conversation where he confesses to William what happened. You know, he says like this even happened to, you know, even Abelard was tempted by Eloise or whatever, right? Which was, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, generally platonic, but like getting weird. But that was like the monk and the nun that I mentioned last week. Anyway, but that's mentioned. I think they also at some point mentioned Huizinga, who is like a very famous chronicler of the Middle Ages, if I'm not mistaken. And they repeatedly refer to the Great Bede, but they just call him like the Great One or something like that. But they're talking about Bede, who is also like a British historian at that time. So I thought all that was cool.
I missed all of that. I got hung up on the fact that Adzo was like, some books reference other books?
So
there's a book in a book?
Well, and so at one point he has this little thought where he's like, are books just like talking to themselves or something? And this brings...
He's high as a kite.
He is high as a kite. He had a rough night.
They are just poofing him with this poof spore. Yeah. This is a spore book.
Yeah. But so this reminded me of this idea that I've talked about a couple of times about the industrial evolution, where like I think it's possible that it's just like biology is like an incubator for technology, and that like technology is spread through human minds and through books and things like that, right? Like, because you can write down how to like make a wheel and somebody else like on the other side of the world can do it. And so like, what if we are just sort of like the incubators of the thing that comes next, you know? Like physics just makes chemistry, and chemistry just makes biology, and biology just makes technology. And I don't know what technology makes. Like, what is there a next thing after that? But he sort of gave us like the Middle Ages version of that, and I thought that was fun.
There was a chapter where they ate cheese and butter at the end of it. That was great. Yeah. William got a little sassy. So William had like two chapters of sass. Our first chapter, I think, of this reading, he and Adzo had like this random moment of joking where like Adzo's kind of doubting like his investigative, abilities, and William's like, well, I figured out the horse. And after Adzo had learned like how he figured out the horse, he's like, aha, you did! And they had like a tee moment. And then towards the end, William got sassy with this papal inquisitor that came by and was like, well, I learned from you not to be the thing I very hate. That was fun.
That conversation about the horse, like, it really bothers Adzo that like they didn't solve where the horse was out of like first principles, that instead they used clues, and like it really bugged him. He has this whole conversation where he's like, well, like we didn't do it like Aristotle. He's like, no, I just like guessed, and I could have been wrong at any point, right? William tells him that, and he's like,
oh, it's wrecked his whole world.
Yeah, it's really shook him up.
Adzo really is like a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Like he has learned his basics.
Literally is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's learned his basics, and he thinks the whole world just lives off of these basics. But like there's reality that gets like thrown in and messes stuff up. But he ain't ready for that. And he's so hormonal, and he's so like. And I am not here to learn about Adzo's birds and bees. It's gross. These are thoughts you don't write down to share with the world. You put this in your personal journal and you burn it. I don't need it. It's so much. We had like 5 chapters, which is really just like a day of every single thing that happened, going back to him lusting over the witchy woman. There's so much. So much throbbing veins. So much embarrassment.
I don't think you can say that on YouTube.
So much. I mean, I'm quoting. These are direct quotes from the book.
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
Umberto Eco. What? Why? And who is saying that this is a good book?
Wait, who drank from a belly button?
Oh, there was a description of the woman's belly button as being, he was describing how beautiful she was or whatever. Yeah. And he described it as like a goblet for wine. Like, Adzo.
Adzo's ahead of his time.
Adzo is just...
He's just like...
Bless it.
I think... So, yes.
He just learned about his little wiener for the first time and is like, wow! Okay, I'm sorry, I'm done.
Well, it's like literally the first lady he's seen or something, right?
Yeah,
like it's really wild.
No, I mean, like... But I don't need to be... This was like when we were reading The Thicket. And you're watching these girls have this slumber party, and you're like, I really don't need to be part of this part of their lives. I don't need to be watching this.
Yeah. Well, so I also, like, so the morning after or whatever, he's, like, wandering around hoping to, like, spot her in the vineyard or whatever. And he's like...
I see her in the trees.
Well, he's like, I didn't see her. And he's like, well, I told you I would tell you all the things honestly, so I will tell you. I did see her. And you're like, oh, do tell. And then he's like, I saw her in the trees and in the clouds and in the forest. And I'm like, oh, my God. Bro, take a nap.
Take a cold shower.
You're going to be all right. That's all they had.
Yeah. Except for that bath that they found the dead guy in. By the way, that was the point of day 3. Day 3. Well, day 3 he was dying, and day 4 he was dead.
Yeah.
So we've lost the guy that was coercing the first guy to have sex for a magical book. I don't remember who the middle guy who died is.
Talking about magical books, can we talk about how wrecked Adzo is that the unicorn might not exist?
If we could lift Adzo out of this time period and take him to, like, Universal so he could see the little unicorn at Harry Potter Land.
He would, first off, he belongs now. He would have been okay today. He was just born in the wrong time. So I think the unicorn thing was hilarious. It was too much for his little brain. But it's the perfect symbol of purity. Anyway, like, in that conversation, he's like, but it's purity and virginity and all this stuff. And I really expected William to be like, well, I guess you don't care about that anymore. But he didn't. And I thought that was a missed opportunity. I thought he should have done that one. But yeah, that was good. We also get a lot of other interesting history. So first off, the whole thing about Umbertino and the Mountain of Rebels and all that. Like that whole conversation, and part of, I think that's where Salvatore comes from ultimately. Anyway, that is so. There's a lot of words in here that I'm not familiar with. The first one is Minorites. Minorites are just Franciscans, so like whatever.
I was reading that this whole time as minorities. I was like, wow.
No minorities. No, minorites.
Wow. I was like, why is this capitalized? No. And why are we talking about this so much?
So Minorites are a specific sect within Franciscans, because St. Francis was all about like poverty and like doing the mendicant sort of like circuit and like being a traveling preacher and all that. But then there were so many Franciscans that they couldn't like support themselves, but they couldn't own property. So then the Pope just owned everything in their place and loaned it to them. So then they had property. They just didn't technically own it. It was very loopholey. But so like the Minorites were pushing back against that kind of stuff and like the riches in Rome and all that. Also, this is, I can't remember exactly what year this is, but this is either during or just after. I think it's during. And maybe at the very end of the, like, what they used to call the Great Schism. And it was like between the Pope in Avignon and the Pope in Rome. And if you've never read about that, it's super fascinating.
Well, yeah, I mean, it keeps coming up.
Yeah. And then what I thought was interesting was this whole thing Adzo gives us about how one time when he was like a kid, he went and saw this guy
get burned at the stake.
Yeah. And like and that guy's whole deal was that he I think he was preaching again against riches and stuff like that. But like basically it's the only like transcendent experience he's ever had besides kitchen sex. So
and like, compared them similarly.
He did compare them similarly, which is why I'm doing this, but yeah, fascinating.
I had a couple of things. Let's see.
Okay, so 1327. I don't think the schism ends until like 1380s, so maybe early on.
I'm with Avignon Pope. I would much rather be in beautiful Avignon than in the ruins of Rome. Are you kidding? Rome is gross.
So that is literally part of the reason that the split happened was they elected a pope from Avignon, and he literally said, "I don't want to live in a city of ruins." That's like literally what he says.
That was in the book.
Was it in the book? I couldn't remember if I read it in the book or elsewhere. But so the Avignon Pope is like super majorly corrupt, and it's like super bad news, and it's all bad, and it's ruled by the emperor. And 1054. Okay, my dates are all messed up.
Wow.
300 years? I thought there was only 3 popes. I could have swore there's only 3 popes during the Avignon thing, but I could be wrong about that. There was a 4th one.
Well, they might have lived a really long time.
Okay, so yeah, there was a schism between Catholics and Eastern Orthodox, but the Avignon papacy, I think, is in the 1300s.
The split between the Catholics and the Orthodox was part of the the Council of Trent, the Nicene Creed, and all that stuff.
Nicene Creed, I think, is before that. Well before that.
Shucks, I don't know.
Maybe Trent. Yes, that sounds right.
One of the things that I did notice throughout the reading was like every once in a while I was like, man, if this were actually a good book, this would be a great book for a philosophy class to read. Mm-hmm. Because some of the things that they talk about are like, or some of the things they talk about, some of the things that ADSO discusses talk about like the origins of Catholicism, which all Catholicism meant was like unified religion.
Right.
Like, it means something different now because there's a split between like Orthodox and Catholic and Protestant and all that stuff. But so there's a lot of like some interesting players along the way. Like last reading, he had mentioned, I think, Boethius.
Yes.
I think I remember that.
He did.
And you know, like how often do you really get to hear about Boethius? I mean, I taught about him just a little bit. He had like a little one-liner in my lesson for like that unit or whatever. But that's kind of cool, and to be able to like see a story where some of these historical figures are like brought in and you kind of see them in some different contexts. William of Ockham is our William the Investigator's like BFF. How fun is that? I taught about William of Ockham in philosophy as well, and again, he was like a one-liner guy. It was, you know, keep it simple. The simplest explanation is probably the best, you know. But how cool to see him like running around with his friends and doing stuff. So if this book didn't suck so bad, I'd be like, this is a great book for a philosophy class. But gosh, dog.
It really is like an interesting period of time because like the Middle Ages is such a long time, right? I mean, like it's from like the several hundreds. I don't, maybe 800s. I can't remember. And this is like the end of the Middle Ages. You know, because we're about to hit the Renaissance, like officially, and.
We had more nods to, you know, how the Arab world held on to all of the information during Europe's Dark Ages. So we had quite a bit of discussion about, like, oh, yeah, well, we read, what is his name, Avicenna or whatever. I can't remember the guy's name. But all the little pieces of information that we were able to restore back from there. Some nods to the little philosophers that came up with the maths. Anyway. So that's just cool. Like, we're getting all these little cool nods to history inside of this one story, but the story itself doesn't make any sense.
Well, and we also get sort of like this discussion of what is like the monk's place in the like intellectual world because universities and like secular institutions are starting to do what they do. And like there's even this conversation about how like some of the monks are pissed off because people are trying to do science out here and like learn new things, and they should just be like copyists. You know, and like their deal is just to like retain the knowledge or whatever. And is it pride sort of to go out and like want to learn new things? But if you want to keep up with the universities and everything, you know.
Yeah, Shelby, William of Ockham would be just devastated by this book. He would be so disappointed.
Because of the simplicity thing? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but we are not this is supposed to be a book about a series of murders that are taking place in an abbey. Or a monastery. We've had 3 chapters related to that. Which, by the way, I plan on immediately watching the movie when we finish this book.
Oh yeah, we're going to watch it.
Because I feel like I might actually get something out of that.
Yeah. I want them to... So it'll be interesting because you'll miss like some of the... I'm not going to call them deep philosophical discussions, but you'll miss some of the philosophical discussions. And
thank God.
While it was... So first off, last week I was pissed off about it, right? I don't much care for like Platonic philosophy. I super don't care for medieval philosophy because it's just like all philosophy is like, you know, pick your like first principles and go from there. They were just like really obvious about it, and it hurt. And like But I hope that some of it is still in there. Some of it.
We'll see.
If I can just see Sean Connery talking about... Well, when I saw the hoofs in the snow, I knew that the horse had left the stables. And then I thought...
Peggy and Shelby, have y'all figured out a way to watch movies together? I mean, I just, FOMO.
Maybe what we should do is have a live scheduled where we're just like, look, watch the movie by X day, and we'll all get together and talk about it. We could do that.
Gosh. Okay, so the actual storyline here. We have 3 dead men, 2 people arrested for suspicion of witchcraft. That's our monk that doesn't speak a real language, right?
Salvatore, yes.
And the girl.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the cellarist is the one who the girl's been being brought in for. But he's still chilling, I guess. I think he'll be dead next. Yeah, who do you... Well, so, day 4, did anyone die that we know of?
Not that I'm aware of.
So, day 5, we're going to find out who died on day 4. I think it's going to be the cellarist.
Yeah. So, are we still thinking that, like... So somebody earlier in the chat said that nobody had... That nobody's actually, like, died in the library, and that's true. But do we still think it's, like, library-related? Because, like, for a while there, I thought that maybe this was, like, a sex thing, right? And, like, we were just, like, killing off people that knew about all the sex that was going on. But I'm not sure about that, and it seems to be, like, hiding some sort of knowledge of a book, maybe? Is that where we're going with this?
That was the first, like, murder... Or the guy who they think did this to himself, like jumped out of the window or whatever, he had sex with that guy in exchange for a book. I don't know who was getting the book and who was getting the sex. I'm unsure about what direction everything was going, but there was some kind of book. And then when they first went into the library, there was a book, and then the book was missing, but all they had was a page. And that's the page with the P secret writing on it.
Yes.
Okay, so somewhere there is this book, and that's supposed to be important. Okay, I don't know. That's all I got. We have 3 deaths, a book, and we also need to keep in mind that, like, all the deaths might not be necessarily related.
There could be, like, one that's...
Something, I mean, there is something afoot, but they might not all really actually be because of this book thing.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, what's the death rate in a monastery?
Not that high. Not enough for 3 people in 3 days.
And meanwhile, we have this 1,000-year-old man who can't see and says everything is like about the end times. Oh, he's going to live to be 1,008. I don't understand. How ain't he dead yet?
There's this, like, toothless man that wanted to be the librarian, and he got, like, skipped over somehow, and he has, like, this savage comment where he's just like, and then he died. I don't even remember who it was. And I was like,
okay, so this place is just hopping with deaths.
Well, the Middle Ages generally was.
Ugh.
So, to be fair.
Oh, but it all smelled so bad. So that's the storyline. There's some deaths. There might be a book. There's definitely some sex going on. And there's an argument that the papacy sent inquisitors.
And we're still not sure what that argument is about.
I think it's about Jesus laughing.
Oh.
And William is there to help put an end to it.
Right. Okay.
But while he's there, he's going to investigate this murder. Yeah. That's where we are.
Okay. Cool. So we're almost done. We will meet next week. I think I have our next book picked out.
Yay. Is it a good one?
I don't know, but it comes highly recommended by a friend.
Yay.
I think it's gonna be like a lawyer mystery thriller situation. Because our last couple like mystery thrillers have not. Yeah.
The Thicket. I apologize.
I still kind of want to do a sci-fi as well. But
it's been a while.
Yeah. I also still have 2 or 3 Adrian Tchaikovsky.
There's a new Ray Nagler. Is that his name?
There is, yes.
A book coming out.
Yeah, it's not out yet, but it is coming out. I don't think it's out yet. But yes, I'm very interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So I do appreciate everyone for hanging in for this book. I do not like it, but I mean, this is an interesting ride, right? Like picking all the pieces apart. And like, I don't think by the end of it, I'll have regretted reading it, which in the case of Flanders Panel, I did. I felt like the whole thing was a waste.
Yeah.
At least this has interesting conversation. And it's fun to be mad at it.
Maybe I should pick an Adrian Tchaikovsky. I got to give the people what they want.
I wasn't a fan of that short story that we read.
Oh, I loved it. It wasn't like the best thing, obviously, that we've ever read by him because,
but that's also like, I try to give that some leniency because how do you follow up Children of Time? And also, I was busy during that time, so I just wasn't really given the attention that it needed.
It's like it was a good little like concept piece, right? Like that's really what it was. But if you had if that story had been a Star Trek episode, you would have liked it. Like same concept, just
yeah. And that's I'm acknowledging that like I just was not in a good space mentally to give attention to it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like where you're at mentally is important.
Oh yeah.
So like, and I'll say this, for whatever reason, I enjoyed this week of this book more than I enjoyed last week, and I had a better week this week than I did last week. So like,
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Last week we were on vacation. This week we worked. Yeah, so like last week I was on vacation. I didn't want to spend my vacation. Yeah, because we were painting. I didn't want to like spend my time reading this nonsense because like I had free time, and now I'm like in the car anyway, and so like you know what I mean? Like
you're back in your routine.
It was not intrusive this weekend.
Yeah. Well, if any of you are joining us for the first time on this book, just well done. Well done.
All right, well, so now I'm questioning what I'm going to pick for the next book, and I'll get that worked out. Well, you got anything else to say about the Middle Ages?
No.
Fair enough.
Oh, Shelby, I forgot about that. And you're still here.
If anything, it's been a roller coaster.
The crappy books are the most hilarious. I mean, and it because it's with the club, like it just it makes it worth it because we still get like good memes out of it and shared trauma.
Yeah, I wish I had been filming Nicole last night because I was sitting on the couch and she was sitting at the other end of the couch, and she was reading and she just put her phone down and just gave me this terrible look, and I don't remember what part it was for.
I don't know. I was so angry.
Yeah. It was just so funny.
Oh, well, yeah. It was the kitchen part.
It was the kitchen part. Yeah.
And then the parts after that where he's going on and on and on about his burning loins. Boy, get it together. Like maybe monk life isn't for you. Because if you see the beautiful face of a woman and every young man that you look at, you don't want to be chaste.
True.
You don't want to be. You don't want to be. So go live. Go live your life. Go meet your people. Adzo. Get out of there. Oh, goodness gracious. And he's retelling this. Sorry, I thought I was done. He's retelling this as an old man. Mm-hmm. This happened to him in his youth. How does he remember this level of detail of these conversations and these stories?
Yeah.
And then we're supposed to remember that this is put back together of a stolen manuscript. So someone else read Adzo's old man manuscript recounting his youth and put back together what we have now? I mean, this is about how the Bible came together. stories and stories and stories, retold and retold and retold. And I guess everyone's adding their own little piece.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be something if we get to the end of this and Adzo's like, and then I don't remember how it ended? Like, oh.
I tell you what,
I don't think we will, but
nary a part of my life that I feel like is essential enough to be written down for the generations to behold. Mm-hmm. Why did he think this was so impressive?
Well, maybe because of whatever theological decision they make here at the end.
Oh.
This is the story of how we came to this conclusion.
You can't forget a belly button that beautiful.
So.
Okay, I really am done this time. Join us next week for my rants and raves about this book.
All right, so one last point, because Peggy brings up a good point. At one point, this book says that books aren't meant to be read for meaning, but for interpretation. And I do remember that. And I thought that was kind of like an interesting sort of discussion, because all books are interpreted. And like, you might not think that you do. You might think that you are like getting the meaning out of the book. But everything is interpreted through the lens that we bring to it, you know? Yeah. And that was like a very astute observation, I thought, for someone. It's like very postmodern for a medieval monk to have.
That's true.
And like, this is all part of like, it's all part of like the issue that Adzo has with like making guesses and not like hard truths and not working from truths. And at several points, I think, even William says things, or maybe Adzo, but somebody uses the term "my truth" repeatedly. And I thought
that sounds like a housewife.
And I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah. My truth.
Anyway, that's about it for this week, I think. Good job, book club. Well done. Well done. All right, so we'll be back here next week to discuss the shocking end to this book, and maybe to plan out some watching of the movie. I will announce today my next book, since now I doubt myself.
I might schedule a live for the next...
We should do that.
For the next video.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's fine. All right, folks. Well, we greatly appreciate you all being here. Yeah, that sounds good. Y'all have a good day or an evening, whatever it is y'all are doing. And keep it going on the Fable. You guys are knocking it out. I have really enjoyed looking at all the comments and making my own.
Mm-hmm. So. The Fable's been helping this be much... make me feel like I'm not so alone while I'm reading this.
Fair enough. All right. You know, maybe the next person this murderer can kill is me.
Put me out of my misery.
All right. I will see you all next week.
Happy reading.
Adios.
No more belly buttons, hopefully.
Oh, my God.